They were roundly booed by real members of the public, rather than invited sycophants in the hall. Not reported by this paper, but others have. From the Daily Mail, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex ran a gauntlet of boos as they arrived at the first public engagement of their pseudo-royal tour. Harry and Meghan were met by demonstrators as they pulled up at Manchester's Bridgewater Hall, despite using a decoy car and entering through a back door. As the couple climbed out of their car, many in a 100-strong crowd booed from behind a barrier just yards away, with onlookers saying it was so loud there was no doubt they would have heard. One protester was carrying a sign that read, "Faux Harry and Meghan fake royals." A woman who gave her name as Janet, from Manchester, accused Meghan of being a liar and a hypocrite and of launching an attack on the royal family. The Duke and Duchess of Sussex, who are living in the U.S. after quitting royal duties, are attending an Invictus Games event in Düsseldorf. Harry and Meghan are meeting officials and potential competitors to mark the one-year countdown to the 2023 Games in the city. The couple smiled and held hands as they arrived at the event today and walked down a red carpet. I wonder if this toxic couple realizes that they are in a bubble of people who are pretending to like them. The people at Invictus must have nothing but contempt for this ex-army officer who purportedly served. The men who actually served with him know the truth, and the Invictus heroes injured whilst serving our Queen and country also know what they think of him. No one should be put in a position where they are expected to cheer this traitor to our country who is using Invictus purely for self-aggrandizement and self-enrichment. But royal biographer Angela Levin took to Twitter to question why Harry and Meghan were receiving the red carpet treatment. She said, "Why are Harry and Meghan being treated like heads of state in Germany, and why has the red carpet been rolled out? They are now ordinary citizens and only represent themselves. Something Harry wanted so badly. Countries should behave accordingly." Meghan looked chic in cream wide-legged trousers deemed with a white halter neck for the engagement, while Harry was smart in a great suit. Officials in Düsseldorf reportedly set up roadblocks along the 3-mile route from the airport to the city centre for the Sussexes' convoy. When Harry was the main advocate of the Invictus Games, he was well respected by members of the public and, more importantly, those who fought for our country. Sadly, since Meghan's arrival, the Invictus Games do not have the same kudos they once had. Proof that everything that Meghan does turns into a PR disaster. A source told Mail Online, "Of course, this is a private visit, but we do not want anything to go wrong or there to be any incident. We are showcasing the city. They will have their own security teams, but the police are being consulted and will be involved. We are hosts for the Invictus Games and we want everything to run very smoothly. There have been lots of consultations and plans have changed, but we are confident it will be a trouble-free visit." The Duke founded the Invictus Games to aid the rehabilitation of injured and sick military personnel and veterans across the globe by giving them the challenge of competing in sporting events similar to the Paralympics. The event in Düsseldorf will take place in September 2023, with more than 500 competitors from 21 nations across 10 sports. Harry and Meghan's visit to Germany on Tuesday comes as they have traveled to Europe to carry out a series of charity engagements this week, making their first stop in the UK. Meghan gave the keynote address for the One Young World Summit at Bridgewater Hall in Manchester on Monday. It was her first in-person address in Britain since quitting as a working royal with Harry more than 2 years ago. Meghan told the 2,000 delegates how her life had changed when she last joined the summit in London in 2019. She said, "I joined you in London in 2019. And by that point, it's fair to say, my life had changed rather significantly. I was now married, and I was now a mom. My worldview had expanded exponentially, seeing the global community through the eyes of my child." Meghan also opened up about the first time she was asked to be a counselor for One Young World in 2014 and having a pinch me moment. She said, "And there I was, the girl from Suits. I was surrounded by world leaders, humanitarians, prime ministers and activists that I had such a deep and long-standing respect and admiration for. And I was allowed in, to pull up a seat at the table. I was so overwhelmed by this experience, I think I even saved my little paper place marker with my name on it. Just proof that I was there, proof that I belonged, because the truth was, I wasn't sure that I belonged." The Duchess, who looked stunning in a red trouser suit, told the delegates, "You are the future, But I would like to add to that you are also the present. You are the ones driving the positive and necessary change needed across the globe. Now, in this very moment. Following their stop in Germany today, the Sussexes will return to the UK for the Well Child Awards in London, where Harry will deliver a speech on Thursday. Harry and Meghan's trip to Britain comes after the Duchess' interview with US magazine The Cut. It also comes as the Duke is bringing legal action against the Home Office over a decision not to allow him to pay for police protection for himself and his family when in the UK. This woman is drawing on all her acting lessons and makeup tricks to try and fool the public. She's a professional chameleon with dangerous intent. We are not fooled by her verbal diarrhea in Britain. We don't live our lives through hysteria and hype like they do in America. History, and plenty of it, has taught the British to guard our shores and keep fake, unethical fraudsters out. If Germany loves them so much, why put a 3-mile exclusion zone around stopping people from going about their normal business? Furthermore, do not forget Harry's dressing up in inappropriate outfits years back. 1937. The regime at that time in that country invited his great-uncle with Wallis Simpson to consort with he who shall be nameless. Seems like a rerun of history with this pair. Funny how history repeats itself in different ways. Edward the Abdicator wanted Hitler to bomb us into submission. Harry's wife wants to bore us into submission with 54 references to herself in 7 minutes of her speech to convince us how wonderful she is. If Charity believes she is a good example for our young, they need to think again. I do not wish my grandchildren to lie, blackmail, commit perjury, malign people and attack people who are on their deathbeds. Why? Because they think it will embarrass the UK. Unfortunately, we cannot trust either the Germans or the French to be good allies. The Germans are still in trauma after causing 2 world wars and the French in petulance because we rescued them on both occasions. This was why they didn't want us to join the EU in the first place, but of course once they got used to us being the main contributor, they didn't want us to leave. They both need to grow up and do the right thing and help us face down Russia. Well, one thing I will say. Big Willie is coming to New York City in a matter of weeks. He will be announcing his joint venture with Michael Bloomberg for the Earthshot Awards. It will simply shoot this minuscule fakey walkabout out of the water. For the amateurs that they are. It's said Big Willie will be making a speech at the UN on 21st of September. I have to find more particulars about this. Yeah, 21st of September. Big Willie will be in the Big Apple. New Yorkers are hoping the Divine Catherine will come with him. Who in her team has it in for her? The photo is on her own close-up. She looks like she is missing a front tooth because of the shadow cast by her nose. Her outfit, oh dear me. Why can't she do something about sleeping in her clothes? Those trousers are a mess. As for displaying her charms, at least she does have a bra that appears to fit and her nips aren't on show, but is that really the right sort of top to wear? No, it's a fashion fail again. I can't imagine why designers want her to wear their things. She isn't a good clothes horse.